Well, hey gang, welcome to Rural Living with Ty and Lisa. I'm Ty, Lisa's inside, but you'll meet her soon. Today, we're going to talk about what is it we're doing with this channel. So, Lisa and I live in a rural part of the country, Oregon to be specific, but a very rural part of Oregon. We live on the southern coast of Oregon, and it's a very difficult place to get to. There aren't any expressways that come into this place. The only road that comes through where we live is US 101, which runs up and down the west coast of the United States. There's a mountain range that you have to traverse to get to the coast. And the bottom line is we are no less than 3 hours away from any real infrastructure. An airport, for example, if we want to fly in and out to somewhere else in the country, the closest airport to us is 3.5 hours. If we want to shop a big box store or a warehouse store, same thing. It's minimum 3 hours to those places. So we like that. There aren't a lot of people where we live. We enjoy that. The landscape and the vistas are absolutely breathtaking. One of the most beautiful places on the planet, in our opinion. And it's like a paradise for us here. We both come from a life of working in the bigger cities. My wife Lisa is from the Bay Area. I spent most of my professional years in Florida, in the big cities in Florida. And, you know, both of us found ourselves during that time sort of dreaming about, you know, the simple life or living in the country and just growing our own food and just living a simple life. Something we always fantasized about. And regardless, we both took the steps a number of years back to start pursuing that goal. We knew it was real. We didn't know each other at the time, but we both set off on a path toward living a simpler life. And that's what brought us to this area. We actually met almost 5 years ago and have married during that time. It's an interesting story, which we'll save for another video, but bottom line is the moment that we met, we felt like we knew each other for a million years, one of those types of connections. And so we're delighted to be here, and we thought, man, it would be pretty cool to chronicle sort of the day-to-day living here in this part of the world, in our rural part of the world, because it is much, much different than living in a city or just outside of a city. For example, our little town that we live in has 2 traffic lights, no fast food restaurants. There's not a single fast food restaurant in our town, not even a Subway. We do have 2 small grocery stores, and lots of natural area, forests and U.S. Forest Service lands, BLM lands, that are chock full of foraging opportunities. So we'll get into all that stuff as we develop this YouTube channel. But anyway, we thought we would give this a try. We currently live in the town where we live. We're literally within the city limits, and our town is very small. It's only I guess 25 or 600 people live here year round. That population does expand during the summer months, which is our season. The part of the coast of Oregon that we live in is considered what they call the banana belt, which is different than the northern coast of Oregon. The northern coast of Oregon typically gets that misty rain almost year round. The southern coast of Oregon, in this banana belt region, it's mostly nothing but sunshine from end of May till middle of October. we'll have some foggy days in there, but generally speaking, it's pretty dang sunny, and we love that. So awesome growing season here. We are in a rainforest, so just about everything grows. Anyhow, I mentioned we live in the city, and our house that we have right now, well, the views are beautiful. We're sort of perched up on a small hillside that's forested, and we don't get much sunshine here at this property. We get, in the peak of summer, we probably get 4 solid hours a day of sunshine on a small area of the property where we've tried to do some gardening, but not without much success, just because there's not quite enough sun. So we recently went on the pursuit, actually in the last year, to try to find some acreage to actually do some gardening and some more extensive homesteading on. Maybe to complement where we live now, maybe to ultimately move to. We're not sure yet. And a property opportunity presented itself several months ago when we were on holiday down in the desert. We do sometimes take the camper down to the desert for a few months during the winter time just to get out of the rain. We do get rain here during the winter. Summer is mostly sunshine, but it is pretty rainy in the winter. And anyhow, a property came on the market while we were down in the desert, and it just seemed to check all the boxes. I mean, we were willing to go up to, I don't know, 2.5 hours to 3 hours away. We'd be willing to acquire property and make that commute. But this one is only 10 miles from our house, and it still maintains the same city address that we have here at the house, which is just awesome. So that was a big deal when that did actually hit the market. The fact that it was so close. The property was just over 3 acres, and the photographs that we saw, that's all we had to go by because, again, we were in the desert, showed a fairly large area that the sun was shining on. So an ample amount of space for our gardening goals, which, by the way, our goal is to grow at least 50% of what we consume. So that's the purpose of the gardening. That's our ultimate goal. Anyhow, long story short, we put this property under contract while we were in Arizona, sight unseen, came back and finally closed on the property. There was a renter, there's a small house on the property, and a renter was living in that house and had a certain amount of time to vacate the property, and we weren't able to close until that vacation occurred. So anyway, we've closed on the property. The house that's on the property was built in the 60s, and it's pretty dilapidated and a lot of black mold in there. So we've made the decision we're actually going to bulldoze that house. And then we've got a longer term plan to redevelop the house. But in the meantime, we're going to develop the property by way of developing the gardens. There's a established orchard on the property that was planted in the 90s, and it's been neglected, but it's probably, I'd say, 13 or 14 trees, which we have no idea what they are. They're leafing right now, but no blooms yet, so we're not that experienced with orchard gardening, but super excited about discovering what those trees are going to bear, if anything. Hopefully, I'm hoping, it looks like probably apples, but I mean, pears grow like crazy, cherries around here, plums, lemon trees. Being on the coast, we're actually in a little bit of a subtropic zone. So when you drive through our town, when I first arrived here, I was shocked at how many big medjool style palm trees there are in town. So anyway, we're excited to have that property, and I'm going to take you to the property this week and give you a short tour of the property and talk more about what we have planned there. But today, again, the purpose of this video was just to talk briefly about what our hope is with this channel. And again, that hope is just to chronicle the adventures associated with our rural living. I'm going to show some fishing videos. The Rogue River is very nearby us. It's one of the best salmon fishing rivers in the world. So I'll get out there and do some salmon fishing. We have Dungeness crab is everywhere along this part of the coast. And we love Dungeness crab. Man, is that stuff expensive too, right now in the stores. $52 a pound at my local fishmonger. I couldn't believe it. $52 a pound for Dungeness crab. Anyway, so we hope to do some crabbing. We can do clamming on the beach, surf perch fishing. So lots of fishing videos coming, or not lots, but several. The development of this property for the homestead, and then other adventures that are at our fingertips living here in this rural part of the country. And then we'll talk some philosophy as well. They're really, beyond that original goal that we both had, independent of one another, of living a simpler life. That's easy to say. I want to live a simpler life. But what does that really mean? And so we both have philosophy on what that means, and we're excited to share that with you in this channel. So that's it. Just a brief check-in to let you know that hopefully fun things are coming, and we hope you come along for the ride. Until then, ciao.